Welcome to the Growth and Banter podcast. My name is Blake McCullough, CEO and founder of GMS Media Group, one of Australia's leading digital marketing advisory agencies. Today, we're joined by the lads from Pool Party, and they're going to share their journey of creating one of Australia's leading and most innovative creative agencies. I hope you enjoy. Leo, Jayden, Taki, welcome. How are we, lads?
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, really good. Thank you for having us.
Good, man. Mate, my pleasure. So look, we've known each other personally and professionally over the years. Mm-hmm. I've had the pleasure of hanging out with you lads, getting to know you all very well. But we're here to talk about your skill set behind the camera and in front of the camera now, and what is Pool Party and how that came to birth. We've collaborated a lot with some brands, and you guys are doing amazing things with Pool Party. But I want to start with how the three of you being best mates came to the conception of going full time with videography, and how we got to the idea of what is Pool Party. Yeah. So whoever wants to start, kick us off.
Leo, you want to take it?
Sure. So obviously the three of us knew each other. Well, it's gone on. I don't even know how many years, because guys don't count how many years you know each other. But
since high school.
Since high school, yeah, we're best mates since high school. Coming out of school, we started a run club actually before they were cool.
Yeah. So was that the first thing you guys did?
Yeah, it was called Run Day. Yeah, and that was back in Cronulla, and we used to move around the city, and they got kicked off pretty quickly, and that was probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah. So we're doing all the content. I picked up a camera for that reason, taking photos, doing that.
Okay.
We're doing our own marketing, obviously promoting these little micro events we're having, and collaborations with brands and whatnot. And then, we ended up doing a really good job of that, and regularly had people asking us who was doing our stuff and how we were basically running the page and doing everything to do with that.
It got pretty big at one point.
Yeah. It was at a time when you were pitching the idea of running to a bunch of people on a Sunday morning, and they were like, "What are you talking about? Why would I get together with someone and run?" So
it was almost on the edge of that societal shift.
Exactly.
Of everyone being a little bit.
You heard the words meditation. You were hearing these sort of breath work that was in the ethos at that point. But people started to really enjoy it, and we had a couple hundred people down at certain events, and
regularly.
Brands were sort of getting behind it. So the marketing, I guess, was a big part of that.
At the time, Jay was working at Westpac.
Yes.
What was everyone doing for jobs prior to?
He had studied a finance and law degree and ended up at Westpac.
Yeah.
I was a qualified electrician.
Okay.
Sparky, and I was actually I was a site engineer at the time, working for a builder.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was a
bit of a mixed bag.
Pretty mixed bag. And so obviously a lot of questions were being asked. Company I was at was sort of going under at the time, and rather than looking for an alternative in that industry, we sort of spoke to each other and were like, how about we take a bit of a leap here? And that's when Control Media was born.
It's that corporate jump to fuck the 9 to 5 sort of thing, you know, and then really realizing that that's not quite the safe game to play. If anything, it is actually more of a risky game to play. Being stuck in that 9 to 5 corporate, climb the ladder, one skill set.
Definitely.
For me, freaked the fuck out of me leaving uni. And going into a job and going, is this it?
Committing essentially to something you weren't even that sure about, whether you loved it, whatever else.
The societal construct of university and education sort of just leads you that way.
And that's a thing that people sort of underestimate. It's like entrepreneurship is like a big leap. And they don't feel as though the corporate lifestyle is a commitment, but it really is. Like, it is tying yourself down into something pretty committed, from a stage where you don't really know exactly what you're getting yourself into. So it does have the traits of like risk. So you can apply that to something like entrepreneurship and take that leap in a different capacity, right? So,
for sure. Like the most wildest story is Jane Lou's story when she got in finance or accounting, I think it was, top 6 out of all the applications. There was like 2,000 people applied for it from a graduate job. And then she was building up Showpo, couldn't tell her parents because they just would have been so disappointed. And then she got the business to I think she had $500,000 stock and was already killing it. Crazy. By the time she was faking to go to work. So she'd get changed in her work, her corporate gear, and then detour to Showpo.
Yeah, incredible.
And then didn't really break the news until she had like $500,000 stock sitting there. She's like, what's the worst that could happen, you know?
Those like distant measures that they go to make for the best stories once it's done, eh?
Yeah. For sure,
And I guess although it sounds like we were just, a run club, sounds like there wasn't much going into it. Like, we were finishing our 9 to 5 and then catching up every afternoon thinking about how to turn that into a profitable business.
And a brand. And that's the sort of mindset that leads you to taking the leap and doing, you know, starting a company or starting a brand or a business and taking it full time, realizing that you need to just basically go all in to figure it out.
Yeah.
And the resilience, it's like, okay, a little bit of a roadblock there. How do I push through that?
Yeah.
To never give up, you know,
exactly.
and how that changes and meanders over time to run club, to control, to pool party.
Yeah, 100%.
You were doing run clubs, now you're doing DJ gigs in your office. It's like things have changed.
Yeah.
They're not that far apart actually when you get into it. But yeah, no, it's been a fun journey nonetheless, and I'm pretty proud of where we're at.
Yeah, and I guess to formally introduce, Pool Party is a formal production agency and creative house that offers a suite of photo, video, film assets, animation, for campaigns, brands across different industries, hospitality, events, you know, corporate through to, you know, fashion and brand pieces as well. So it's a broad spectrum of services that we offer, but all in the creative realm of production.
And what was the decision to sort of shed your layer of skin from Control, which was the original name, into Pool Party? Because it was quite a unique, I remember when you guys were saying changing it, we got the handle, Instagram and stuff. It's quite a unique name. I completely understand back then the vision of how you've created it. It makes complete sense. But how did you go through that process of coming to that idea, ideating it, all the way through to that now sinking into the monthly gigs with Pool Party and Friends? How did that sort of come about initially?
Yeah, I mean, we worked pretty closely with a branding agency to come up with the new name, and we knew that it.
So you can't take all the credit then yourselves.
Yeah. Well, I guess we dropped the hammer on it. So and there were lots of options. So we definitely did the filtering and found something that we thought represents us the most, and the most accurately. So yeah, Pool Party. I mean, you just said it yourself. You know who we are and the type of engagement we have with people and the things we put forward and outward, so it represent us
more accurately with just a lot of energy and a lot of opportunity to expand the brand beyond just strictly like media. Obviously it said Control Media in the name, and Pool Party was just something that lent into the music, the fashion, the other aspects of our creative sort of interests. And then like Taki said, like this was like that name was like after like 50 names deep. Like this was a nightmare. Like I wouldn't advise the rebranding process to anyone. It's expensive. It's annoying. But you know, if you commit and you get a result, obviously, if it's necessary, take it and run with it. But it doesn't come easy. It's annoying.
And I guess to sort of answer the question a little bit more, like we recognized pretty quickly that we had picked a name that was that ticked the boxes. It was safe. We obviously came into the industry. You don't want to take too much risk.
Yeah, we're young.
Completely new space. But we quickly figured out who the big players in the industry were, what the industry is, this whole agency land at the moment. Like at the start, it's all smoke and mirrors, you realize pretty quickly. And you basically figure out who everyone is and where we sit in that ecosystem. And we figured that we need a name that lent into that and really pushed our characters and our personalities through. And everyone wants to be at a pool party. Everyone loves a pool party, so it makes sense.
It's like authentic to you guys. It's authentic to what you're doing day in, day out, you know, and I think that's what I would say would make work easier for you guys, and probably doesn't feel like work anymore, does it?
Exactly.
And it skips a few steps of trying to explain to people who we are. Like, as soon as that initial interaction comes through and they see an email from Pool Party, then they know they're geting fun young creatives that are looking to push the envelope and give you something outside the box.
And hats off to you guys for realizing that so early on, because like Control only 4 years, 4 years.
It would have been two now.
Two and a bit. Like that's pretty early to consider that change. You know, usually brands go through that process. Between 10. That 7 to 10 year mark is that bell curve of like innovation, right? But hats off. Like that's a big jump to make.
And I think what Leo was saying was like when you realize a little bit more about the industry you're in, like your biggest asset is who you are genuinely. So the earlier you lean in, the more you can realize your competitive advantage, which is who you are and who your team is and what you represent. So that's like just a piece of advice for anyone. Like if it's genuinely who you are, like that's probably going to be the thing that opens the doors and showcases your difference in the industry.
Absolutely. And like no one can copy your original story. And that's created more uniqueness out of your offering as well.
Gets the combo going, like Leo said. Like what the fuck is this?
Pitched by like some party organization. And it's sort of like the fact that you've got and weaved in the music scene. I think that's awesome. So talk to me about Pool Party and Friends. That was, I'm assuming, was part of the original conception. How does that work? And you're doing monthly events at the moment. You've got some pretty big Australian artists coming through that I've seen, and you're developing those sort of playlists that you've got going. Like, talk us through that model.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was always in the plans for us, like, whether we, spoke outwardly of that or not, but just it was just when the opportunity came about that we could actually facilitate and host and make these things a reality. So I guess, to answer your question, we always wanted to do it, and we always had that shared passion as a brand that just we could actually do it right now with the warehouse and the office that we have. And obviously the brand's name getting out there more, like, our network grew, the reach that we had, the people we could call on from our past, having that, like, being ingrained in the music scene in Australia kind of helped as well, especially Sydney. Like, we had network that we could pull on, and now we could actually facilitate those radio sessions and those parties.
I think,
100%.
I think it's also our way of, like, staying, like, in the culture and, like, building a network within it. We, like, a lot of the people that we've had on are just friends, but it's starting to extend beyond that, and also building a brand that's not just an agency. Like, we're building a, like, community that's part of and attached to Pool Party. So just that whole sort of network that's coming through it, and even the opportunities that are coming through when speaking to new brands, like collaborations that they want to have, having us activate, their spaces or their events, or even just, like, being able to pull on the artists that come through to, like, use them in campaigns is something that's really interesting. And we all know that fashion, music, and hospo all sort of intertwine and work together.
That's right. Like, you need to be having a good sense of fashion for your shoots. You need music to accompany that, and of course the creative element. So you're mixing all three together pretty well.
Yeah, and there's many brands like that are doing that now as well, like touching a few different industries at once, like Emilion Door. Like, they're not just a fashion house; they have to be in the music, and everyone knows, like, attention is everything these days. And so the more places you can be providing value or entertainment or, content in some way that people engage with, like, the better for your brand.
So long as they still resonate with the brand, obviously.
So long as you resonate with what you're doing. Yeah. And that's why music is the one that we activated first, right?
It's pretty universal.
Yeah, and it came from a history for us of partying.
Yeah.
So it was a natural
I can relate, boys.
Yeah. I think you can testify to that.
And you've sort of gone into that more house music industry versus, say, rap or R&B.
That's a fair call, for sure.
Because honestly, there's a gap. Like, Sydney
there's not much. I remember clubbing at one point, it was all R&B or it was, like, radio music. Like, there was just nothing where you could go and get good house music. It's all in Europe or it's in America.
And we know, like, a lot of our mates are incredibly talented. Like, they're being recognized on the global stage. Like, there's that, our networks are closely tied to the boys in Amsterdam or overseas, but they've got so much push over there. There's such a big following. Here in Sydney, it's just lacking. Like, it's just not there.
Absolutely.
And
I agree.
Like, there is a lot of talent here. It's just not really getting picked up.
It was there, and then it just diminished after Lockout Laws.
I was about to say, we came up through as it was good, and as it fell off, we saw it. And so, like, we had that knowledge of what was good, 100%. And I feel like that's what, like, it's almost like an underlying part of the mission that we have is to kind of bring it back and give the opportunity to those young parts of the network that kind of do have it.
And I think because, like, at the peak of King's Cross, it being, like, top 10 destination for clubbing in the world, it had a lot of subcultures. So clubs could afford to go all in on techno or all in on house, right? Whereas I think post Lockout Laws, when there wasn't many clubs, I think they sort of just had to please everybody and just have, like, there was clubs one time, you'd hear a house music song, then you'd hear R&B, then rap, and then, like, it's just all over the shop.
A bit of a cheese factor.
And I think now it's starting to come back a little bit.
I think phase two of that was probably COVID as well, losing a lot of the Europeans and losing a lot of the energy from, like, the people that used to obviously go to these events. Like, there's a lot of the European crowd that used to kick them off, like, especially the house music scene. So yeah, I think we're still bouncing back, but we want to be a small part in helping that.
Aussies are uneducated with their house music, but we love it.
They'll get there.
Yeah.
So what's it like, being three best mates, growing up together, and having these now 3 or 4 different ventures you got? Like, how do you separate work and play, or is it all intertwined now?
Yeah, it's not easy. It makes work, obviously, like, feel like you're not working. But there's also, like, the times when, we get carried away in that, and it's a tough balance, to be honest, but that's just the journey you take, and that's naturally the case in business. And I think in our position, it's a unique one where I think I can confidently say, like, we have an underlying commitment that there is no ego and there is no sort of resistance to change, and there's no ego between us. So every time we're pulling each other up, it's all ears, and that's the sort of situation we've allowed this to become. So because we're best friends and we've grown like this family culture in this business, like when someone's doing something wrong, there's no dramas in like just
you've got the mutual respect.
And keeping people in line.
We all know that 2 beats 3 as well. If there's a decision to be made, like 2 beats 3 every time.
That's true.
That's just how it goes. And then
just more creative minds as well. Like it's an asset having ourselves and obviously the extended team. Like we treat all of our team just like we treat each other, and like it just feels like there's more people at the helm just creating.
Like how does that filter through? Because obviously with hiring, you know, and I've had experiences of hiring someone I don't know versus hiring someone I do know. There's pros and cons to both of that. I think there needs to be that respect early on, whether you know the person or 100%. Not. Like you can have it both ways. You can bring someone on that doesn't respect you because you don't know them. Vice versa, you can hire someone that you know and they turn out to be very respectful.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, Simon and I, we've known each other. We've worked at bloody General Pants together back in the day. And we've got that mutual respect. There's only like a handful of times where we've had to pull each other up, and it's usually we sort it out like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we don't conflict, and I think that's also just been luck that we have opposing personalities.
Yeah, right.
You know, he likes the operations, I like more the front. It's very, very mutual in terms of our skills and weaknesses. Is that something you guys have ever discussed, like the strengths and weaknesses, and obviously assigning each other roles? How early on did you have to do that, or was it just a bit of luck again?
Funny enough, we had a rough, like we were doing it sort of without officially doing it, and then we had someone suggest that we read a book called Traction.
Yeah, I know that book.
And obviously all the systems and processes implemented from that sort of pushed us harder into like actually going, all right, what's
figuring out who's doing what.
What's everyone's tranche and how are we running this thing? And we sort of landed on the fact that Taki would be looking after sort of more the operational and studio side of things. So everything like client facing with respect to like shoots, managing the studio in post-production, and then also managing the shoots themselves.
And staff.
And staff. And then Jayden picked up everything to do with brand and marketing. Which left me with like BDM and sales. So that's where we ended up. We could all wear honestly any hat.
It's also important to know that like you can all overlap each other's roles. Obviously, if one's not there, like I have to step into operations sometimes if Simon's not there, and vice versa. He can also sell if need be. You know, if I'm not there. So that's good to know that you. I mean, you have to wear multiple hats as a small business.
Definitely. You can't hire strictly a BDM out the gates. You know, so everyone has to just pick up that opportunity and just run with it, and then as you figure out who's better at what, you just fall into your positions, I suppose.
And that was the beauty of building this thing from the ground up. Like we didn't have a choice. We had to all wear the hats and all figure it out. And it's like it's happened pretty quickly. You know, 2 years in, we're already changing names and evolving the business. So we've fallen into our places really nicely.
I think there's a bit of a luck there, right? Like 'cause you probably haven't gone, wait, before we get into this, let's do a personality test. Like who fucking does that?
Nah, 100%.
Unless you've like 3 businesses already, you've done it before, you meet someone that you want to do a partnership with, you do that, right? But
the sad but crazy thing about this whole thing is like we have 50% of our lives are shared memories and shared experiences. Like we've traveled Europe together. We've done everything from high school together.
And basically live day to day together at the office, which is from 6 till the end of the day. We're basically just running the same life.
So that was already mapped out. Energetically, you already know that you work well together,
there,
right? So there's something there.
And I think though, like what you were saying before, you do have to like check that with respect to the rest of the team and employees, because we have, and even just in recent discussions and stuff, like there is something of being mindful of employing friends and sort of not necessarily realizing in the moment how friendly the environment can become. And, I think that's something to just, for anyone that's running a business to check on. And it helps having people outside the business also that are, whether it's an accountant or an advisor or a mentor, these are people that are like, we hold closely to ourselves that just come in and sort of offer those secondary opinions because we're so in the room. And then there's 3 of us in the same position. I think it's something that I would advise anyone to have, just someone that can just take a step back and look into the business and maybe be like, what about this?
You got your tunnel vision, right?
Yeah,
like sometimes
exactly.
you're doing things that are habitual because you've just been doing them that way, and another person go like, why the fuck are you doing that? You're like, that's right.
And being wogs, we're highly emotional too, so emotions sometimes cloud better judgment.
Oh, mate, I'm with you on that one.
You got first experience of that one.
Being Dutch count?
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
Definitely.
We were talking to someone just yesterday who's run a successful hospitality business for like over 30 years in Sydney, and he was like, one of the biggest things he learned a piece of advice he would give himself at the start was just don't be so tolerant. And that goes with your staff, with a lot of things in the business. He's like, just make the call earlier. If it feels like this, like, just fucking make the call.
But being firm, I think, is one of the biggest things as a business owner that you need to have. Because if you are a yes man, or if you just are too easygoing, whether it is with closing a deal, or nurturing a client is one of the bigger ones. If you're just saying yes to everything, breaking your processes and systems, they're going to walk all over you. Yeah,
definitely.
So the more firm you are, the more people respect you. It's like pricing as well. 100%. If you discount your pricing, no one's going to respect you. So that firmness, I think, is the point of difference between people that can, close a big deal or at least show more value, or those that are puppy dogs, and sort of just do it because they don't like confrontation, or they want to please too much. Like you got to sort of learn to say no.
For sure. And he said at the end of the day, like after running it for 30 to 40 years, he said the last thing you're left with is the respect.
Yeah.
So when it's all said and done, that's what you want to have.
Yeah. Yeah, fully.
Yeah.
And how's the dynamic filter through with hiring? Obviously the team, like we've just sort of mentioned it then. There is an element of like give an inch, take a mile. I know you guys have created a very enjoyable, like I've not seen any other company that has created what you've created and so quickly. How does that like filter down to the team with your hiring and obviously making sure that, you do sort of draw that line in the sand when it comes to fuck guys, we need to put our heads down and get work done.
I think the thing that it is leading by example. I think that goes without saying in the company. I think just like it might be in a home or in a relationship, like from our perspective, if we do what we say and what we ask of them,
leading from the top,
they basically follow suit. And I don't think you can pull people in line from a place where you're either contradicting what you're saying or you're not showing an example of what you're saying. It's difficult for them to respect you from that perspective. So leading by example is a sure thing.
I think we're also blessed that we haven't had a high turnover. Like we haven't had to apply, like, put out seek ads or look for people very often. And the few times that we have, I think everything we spoke about earlier has trickled through into the types of people that are approaching us. So they're already coming with the same understanding, characteristics, energy, and respect that we sort of put out. The way we show ourselves is what we sort of get back.
Yeah.
And I think just you can't discount communication. Like we run a really friendly kind of organization, and as much as you can be a friend, we can be tight as well, but that gives us a nice even playing ground to like level with an employee or a business partner and speak in a safe space where you can get your message across and come across firm without being hostile. So that's a major thing as well, being in such a friendly and good environment. You can approach a situation from that lens first before you have to move a bit firmer.
What's the non-negotiables if I was here sitting for a job right now? Who's going to be doing the interviewing, and what's some of the questions?
Honestly, man, it just depends
how I'm dressed and what music do I like.
It is very important.
Yeah, exactly.
It definitely is very important.
Do you like house?
It depends. If that's it. If Blake McCullers applying, it's a different interview question.
Yeah, 100%.
Questionnaire.
It's a very specific role that we're hiring you for. It's honestly
off book, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's completely sort of dependent on the role that we're looking for at that given time. Overall, culturally, obviously culture is a really big thing for us. So fitting culturally comes first and foremost. That doesn't necessarily mean what you wear or what music you like. It just means the type of person you are, the respect you have, and the way that you conduct yourself.
For sure.
We are looking for we're looking for people that are driven, that don't need to be necessarily micromanaged or told what to do.
Fuck, that's a big one, the micromanagement. Having someone who can get the playbook, but then grow that playbook.
100%.
Not get a playbook and have to continue to update that playbook for them and hold their hand
that's
forever.
Difficult to find.
Like that's the difference between someone who I consider entrepreneurial. So they want to create their own division within a company that exists and join that journey versus someone who is just there because they want to get a paycheck or they want to be told what to do. And I think that's a difference between someone maybe working for a smaller fit or someone who just wants to get, chewed up in that sort of bigger operational organization.
Thrown into the mix.
Thrown into the mix,
Yeah, for sure. And I think, that makes a massive difference in a small company, and you feel it and you can tell early.
Fully. You can tell straight. There's warning signs straight away.
100%,
Might take 3 or 4 goes to say the same thing over and over. And you're like, okay, they're not getting it.
Because you can have such a big impact in small companies.
Yeah.
Like if you do more than you need to, and you level up and take advantage of your opportunities, the company feels it. And so when you don't, the company feels it.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a bit of like self-satisfaction. Like if you know that you're making a difference, like isn't that great? Like internally, like don't you feel like you like you owe yourself that, to feel like you're making a difference?
Yeah, I think there's absolutely like the difference you can make, leading your own sort of department, or at least just like thinking creatively in a role where you've got the ability to like cross over departments versus execution only. How much more satisfying that's that, and getting to know how the organization works versus like one singular department.
Yeah, for sure.
You just learn so much more.
Yeah, 100%. And making the call on those people in the team early is beneficial to both as well. Like it's probably advised. It's tough to make those calls, but everyone's better off.
Yeah.
And the last thing on that topic is that like the thing that's gotten us here today is constantly hiring people that are better than us at what we do.
Yeah, for sure.
It's such a skill-based like space that we work in that every hire has been, they're better shooter than us. They're better editor than us. They do the little things that we can't do ourselves because we're focused. We want to focus on the business so that there are people servicing our clients that are the best in the industry. So that's the aim, just to hire the best people we can.
Yeah, learn from your staff, not the other way around. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to some of the work you guys have done recently on the other end of the spectrum. What are some mad campaigns you guys have done that you're proud to share?
Pier 1?
We recently did a campaign for Pier 1, the hotel in Sydney Harbour. And that was really special. It was an interesting one for them. They wanted something out of the ordinary. They've had a couple hotel videos before. They were a little bit standard, a little bit real estate vibes. They wanted something different, something pool party. And they wanted to champion the fact that they were or are one of the best dog-friendly hotels in Australia and the world.
Too, isn't it?
Yeah, and so that was a fun one. Obviously, entertaining that idea and implementing a dog and having a lot of fun and character throughout this campaign was really cool. And we worked with some great people on that campaign. So that landed really nicely. It just came out last week. So
nice.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah,
difficult too. Dogs.
I bet.
Dogs are tough.
Yeah, dogs are tough.
They don't respond kindly to directions from Jayden.
No, unless I start barking. So yeah, it's a different story.
It just depends on the day, right?
That was fun though.
But it was a fun campaign. I mean, we've had a couple back-to-back with American Apparel that have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I saw that EDM come out.
Yeah. That lookbook was something that, super clean, pretty cool look. There's also a bit of another thing's going on with them at the moment. I don't know if we can speak about yet.
Yeah, perhaps not. Yeah. But also Riser Global, a very esteemed events company in Australia and globally. We've, doing all of their production work, capturing the events that they do, and those events are incredible. And something like an opportunity like that is one where we show up and just try to put our best foot forward every time, just to like level up for them. It's nice having clients that are of a certain tier that honestly almost makes you nervous.
Yeah.
And pushing a client like that to do stuff for themselves as well. Like we actually finally got the wheels turning on some branded content for them, which looks schmick. So it's tough. It's tough because they've been in it for so long. They've never had to. So they've been part of so many cycles of content. But having them do some brand stuff now that's looking really good is also very exciting.
Yeah, and you'd know the benefits of leaning into brand, even for legacy companies.
For sure.
These days, you see it in fashion houses and then you see it trickle down even to corporates, like leaning into the personalities in the company and, the uniqueness of the brand. Yeah. It goes a long way these days.
The results.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The results speak for themselves.
We've gone back to the importance of brand. I mean, brand's always been there, but I think it's now more important than ever to consider brand as part of the mix.
Yeah.
I feel it goes brand first.
Yeah.
That ties into the brand messaging. Then that ties into the creative, or at least like the pre-production brief, to then film, to then build out the assets of their own media,
definitely,
to then prove the product organically, to then go out and run ads. So that's why I always try to re-engineer brands coming to us when they're not ready for that. I'm like, there is steps to take in the process to create a successful campaign.
For sure.
It's just the way it is, you know?
Yeah.
And it's hard for them sometimes being in it and having never asked themselves the right questions to like actually know what they're trying to say or who they're trying to be and how they want to speak to people. But a lot of the time they're doing it, they just need to be prompted and they need someone to actually digest it and put it back out in a way that's obviously really clear with their brand.
Yeah, we're like getting hit up a lot with, you know, it's ambiguous. Like, what would you guys do from a creative point of view? And, you know, when we get a brief like that, obviously we pull you guys in.
Yeah.
You know, there might be some copywriters we pull in as well for brand messaging, some UGC. Like, there's different components. But, like, how do you guys navigate a brief when you get sent something that's like they don't know what they want? You know, you're not really getting an indication of budget, and then you just got to go with it. Like, how do you go in with that brief, and what's the outcome?
The important thing is obviously just initially just listening, like just hearing them out and understanding, you know, where they are, who they are as people individually, and what the story of the brand is. And then obviously their demographics is really important. So knowing who and what they are selling and who they're selling it to. And then there's a lot of assumptions that need to be made in between that. And then
a bit of guesswork.
But that process is obviously a refinement process. You start pretty high level and then you work with them to basically refine that to a point where everyone's comfortable that that's exactly the way they want to speak to people. But the important part is first and foremost to just sit back and listen and let them talk, let them do the talking, ask the right questions.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, asking the right questions is important. And coming from a place where we've seen brands like from startup all the way through to legacy brands, we have run into the problems where like they, you know, have mixed messaging themselves, and like you're trying to figure that out with the client. And so just getting in there and understanding who the brand is will end up just answering a lot of those questions. From our perspective, from a production perspective.
Well, they say the moment that you're talking, you're not selling. The moment you're listening, you're selling. You know, it's just let them talk as much as possible.
For sure. And I think like we're never shy to throw a lot of ideas out as well, and that goes a long way because like we the pre-prod phase for us is fun. It's entertaining for the client. It's often something they're not super familiar with or they haven't done a whole lot of. So it's a fun process. Like going back and forth, ideating, bringing things to life is something that, you know, when you have a few people involved and you have producers and the clients, you know, feels comfortable and you're in a good relationship, you end up getting to a place where everyone's just like stoked about an idea. And then from there you start to formalize that production.
Yeah, absolutely. And the pre-production is important for those bigger brands who need to see the conception before they roll it out, right?
So like to something,
how obviously you guys have progressed into pre and post. Like how are you guys, how do you go back to the drawing board and go, cool, what's going to be the unique message here for this brand? Like what is the process?
Yeah, you gonna take that?
No, yeah, whatever.
It's a good question, but honestly, it's just part of what we just spoke about.
Yeah.
It's understanding what the point of difference for the business is, and how do we exaggerate, emphasize, break that? How do we find a way that's gonna disrupt in the internet, on the internet, disrupt socials, disruptive content. That emphasizes those points that we sort of established through the pre-production process. So
stop the scroll,
but also like what is going to be different about this brand that's going to emphasize their personality, their character, their brand is essentially what we're trying to always get into when we're having those initial conversations.
Yeah. And on the flip side of that, like the challenges that you've faced on some campaigns, like what are some disasters? Like, well, I'm sure there's been some at the start.
Like at the I mean, specific stuff, like at the Pier 1 one, like we ran into hurdles throughout. Like the shoot was rained out twice. The car didn't start. The dog wouldn't sit. It rained on the day. Like these are all things that happened just in that one shoot. And if
the boat didn't show up.
The boat didn't show up. That didn't start either. And if you looked at the product, you wouldn't know a thing. Because you know you work on the fly and you have a team that can work on the fly and everyone supports each other. So you wouldn't even know it. But that was one that was just a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. But it was
There's so many variables people don't realize.
From talent through to stylist, through to weather, through to, you know, everything in between. There's a lot to
when I'm sort of like ballparking, you know, what it takes to do even a half day, full day shoot, that it's like, I can get it down the road by XYZ. I'm like, oh, what the fuck are they doing? They just stand with the camera and just get you to direct. Like,
exactly.
There's so many elements involved to get it right on a level of quality, like what you guys do, that I think is very still an uneducated space.
Yeah.
You know, as his brand, I think is
definitely.
an uneducated
and
space.
I think that leads to like the other example where, you know, it's not, I wouldn't say it's the most difficult, but it's also difficult navigating a client that doesn't want to step left or like go down the route that is a little bit different, and they want to stay in that middle lane and they want to just, you know, play the safe card. That's something that is, you know, a back and forth and something to navigate that's not easy. But yeah, with the right conversations and the right ideas, you can get it there. But sometimes it doesn't always get there. Like, you know, people are reluctant to really push it sometimes.
Yeah.
So just navigating that expectation and that relationship is important. Yeah.
I think the most difficult clients to deal with are the ones that like come into the scenario with like their creative interpretation already made up and without any room for flexibility on like what that output could be, how it could be most impactful. Like you get the clients that approach you and go, you guys are clearly good at what you do. Let's trust you. Here's a half-baked idea. I want you to make this something that's impactful. And then there's ones that just go, yeah, like, no, it has to be exactly like this.
Yeah, so coming with a ready to go brief, and then you have to then
here's what my competitor did. I want it to look like this, but with a little bit of a spin. But no, it can be way better, or it can be yours if we just do this. But sometimes that's a hard sell for some people.
I think that's with anything, right? Like if we get some of our hardest clients are people who know the skill as much as us in terms of media buying, because then they'll jump in and pull it apart, going like, why is this set up like this? And you know, they're jumping in, making changes, which then fucks the whole algorithm. So it's like, same as you guys, if you get people coming to you that they think they know everything, then it's very hard to inject why they're coming to you.
Exactly.
Like there's got to be that mutual synergy between the brands that you work with and what you're injecting as a skill.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Yeah, it's a great point.
But then you don't want someone who knows like fuck all.
Yeah.
You know, you got to have some sort of education.
Yeah, and I guess having that education, or at least knowing what you're about and what your brand is about and stuff. So having those foundations is important.
Yeah. Leads me to my next point of the difference in the balance between like commercial objectives and authentic storytelling. I think authenticity today with AI, with fucking no one trusting anything on social media, with all these dud brands that have ruined it for everyone over the past decade on fucking Facebook news feeds and Instagram, and now we've got TikTok to battle with. Like I'm struggling I have to like rewatch videos 3 times. I'm like, is that real or is that AI?
No, it's
you know, how are we battling with that at the moment?
I mean,
we're not. We're using it as a tool. Obviously, being led by people. It's not a replacement for creativity. It's not it doesn't supplement anything, but it definitely helps us in the process. Whether it be, you know, mood boarding, storyboarding. I mean, obviously, end to end, it has a myriad of uses, but it's been honestly a really good tool in speeding up the process for us and just. A tool is basically essential.
Yeah. I mean, I can't live without it from a creative perspective anymore. Like it's just enhances a lot of the things we do, and you could give the tool to someone down the road and ask them to do the same thing, and you would get not anywhere near the result that one of us would potentially get in the same situation, if the situation is the one that we're working in, because like it enhances your creativity, it gives you opportunities and ways to think and ideate and imagine and then mock up in, you know, fractions of a second.
You can't have an excellent output in something like ChatGPT if you don't have the skill set to know how to brief it properly.
Exactly.
You know, and I think that's the misconception. Like, I'm just going to run ads because I can place it myself, or I'm just going to go and use ChatGPT myself because it's there, it's ready to use. But there is still a skill set to know how to wrangle AI and use it 100%. In a way that you know is going to produce a good outcome.
And you have to learn that. Like that's a skill. And that's something we're getting better at and our team's getting better at. And, you know, people are selling, you know, courses on how to understand and how to use these tools. So I don't think there's too much of a threat just yet with respect to like replacing creatives. But, you know, I've seen on Instagram now though, like people are putting brand ads that are fully branded, Gucci commercials. No one in the whole thing exists. Like it's straight out of the fucking thing. So
crazy.
It's
Are we going to go in that direction though? Like, is that? I
think it's fun. I think it's definitely interesting.
I think there's always going to be this level of like creative human refinement that keeps it like human. Maybe is a good way to put it. But there's always going to be that element, and it's going to be distinguishable. But AI is really crazy as well at the same time because it learns your ways as well. Like it becomes an extension of you. So using it for good and the benefit of both your client and yourself, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm keen to see how far it gets. Like, I'm all in. Like,
me too.
Yeah, I want to really see how good it can get.
I think if anything, it was probably going to make the really great human interaction online even better.
Yeah,
because if there's this like influx of fake shit, and even if it is great AI commercials, it's going to cause more competition for us as humans to produce better content.
Yeah, it's an interesting point.
And I think we haven't firmly gone to market yet. It's something we're experimenting with internally. We have had a bit of interest from other clients, but having it as a supplementary to like a content bank you get as part of a campaign is also really good. So at the moment, when we're experimenting with it, like we'll shoot the campaign and then feed the content we've shot from the campaign to just pull even more out of it and get more ridiculous or like different versions spun out of it. Yeah. So,
so it becomes another pillar.
For UGC.
Yeah. And
B-roll behind the scenes shit.
100%. And on that point, like just literally the other day, a healthcare company engaged us for specifically AI pieces.
Right.
So there is an appetite for it in the market. Yeah. And they were strict instructions to build them out of AI.
Yeah, right. It's the same as a lot of our copywriters. They're starting to now pivot into a lot more brand messaging.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot more like scripting, for videos when before, like say for instance, you book a half day or full day shoot, the customer might need scripting because they just can't talk off whim.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of copywriters are now selling, ChatGPT briefing documents to brands to know how to brief that in. So like you'd think that copywriters are like the first job done, right? With ChatGPT, but same thing. Like they're just using they're just becoming really great at using it, and people are paying them to create almost like copy bibles.
Yeah.
It's like you've got your brand bible, you've got your logo guidelines, and you've got your message bible.
This is how you talk.
And this is how you talk to ChatGPT as a non-public brand ChatGPT. So like that's like you said, it's an aid. It's not a replacement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, unique approach with working with brands. Like, how do you create that uniqueness, and how do you? Because there's so much competition, saturation out there.
Yeah, it's wild.
Obviously, we've spoken about it a little bit with going in and asking questions with the brand, but how do we stay unique?
I think, the thing that we keep coming back to, and this goes from like, I was speaking to Alessia Pierucci, this Instagram, I guess you could call him an influencer, but like anywhere from him to like the larger brands like Loewe or Jacquemus, like that personality is like irreplaceable. And Jacquemus, like they draw on Simon's history, like his French origins. Like his last release, he was basically re-imitating family photos from his family gallery straight into the lookbook for this year's season. And so I think you can see that inspiration anywhere from a micro influencer all the way through to the highest luxury fashion brands. Like that personality is irreplaceable. So just trying to lean into that. I know that sounds almost cheesy or like expected.
No, it's a good point. I think there's a lot we can draw from those big luxury brands that are still killing it. And, have just drawn into that exclusivity and scarcity game that we buy into as customers. 100%. And they've remained that.
Yeah. And I think that's like, that goes sort of unnoticed sometimes, but like, whether it's LVMH and Louis Vuitton, like they'll draw from Virgil Abloh's history and where he comes from in the streets in New York. Like there's an element of like that, there's a piece of personality here that we need to lean into. And you'll see that in different capacities in different brands, but that's always sort of the key, the underlying theme.
Authenticity, man.
It all goes back to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, literally.
Like storytelling and having that. There's always a story or some figure behind these brands. Gucci,
for sure.
There is, from a startup all the way through to like fucking that top end of town, there is still a personal brand
for sure
attached to it.
Yeah. And you see it now as well, just like scrolling Instagram. I was scrolling last night and this guy's releasing his his own fashion label out of Melbourne. And he's on there explaining how he's designing a singlet, and he's explaining the history of Carlton and the AFL and what they used to wear and what his dad used to wear. And he calls the color of the singlet Wog Brick Brown because that's the color of the house that the Wogs lived in. And all the comments and all the traction is clearly as a result of him being genuinely authentic about the product and the brand.
That's right.
It's just interesting to see.
personal branding is like fundamentally, I think, again, now with AI becoming way more important. People want the story. They want to buy into the brand. It's like people buy from people. They're not buying from the product, even though the product is a key component for them to come back and buy again. I know you guys are tapping into your personal brands as well. So I think first part of the question is like how important it is for all three of you to start developing and continue developing your own personal brands when you are approaching other brands. I'm sure they're looking at what you guys are doing individually as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pivotal. I think that's a good way to explain it. You just like, it's where you come from, a background and a business going all the way back to Runday, where being people was the reason why people came back. You know, people wanted to run with us, not on their own. So just to go all the way back to the history of where we come from, it's about being people. And when someone feels comfortable around you, the rest is easy, man. The rest is so easy when you break down that barrier. You know, they can be worried or second guessing about a pitch, or, you know, we're trying to move clients to go left and do something that's a bit more, you know, of an experiment. But if they have that confidence and that safe feeling with on set or with the interactions and the way we nurture that client all the way through the experience and the process, it's just, it boils down to just being people.
Yeah.
And it's something that Pool Party is really like focusing on.
Yeah. And I guess like, building personal brands like is something that we could have placed more emphasis on. It's something that we want to go harder into. But for us, personal brands is also just the network we've got. Like, there is our community and our network that, you know, they come back to us because of exactly what Taki just said. There's a trust and respect there that they know what we're going to deliver.
I don't know if you guys feel the same, but like I'm really just starting to, you know, really build my personal brand, and I just feel silly for not doing it sooner.
Yeah, 100%. That's one of
15 years in marketing, but like I always just felt like there was a bit of just ooiness with it. You know, it's a bit like yucky posting 100%. Your own shit, and it's like also, what do you post, and where, like, do you want to just go all in and show everything? Like I'm sort of I'm more along the lines of like only posting, you know, stuff that relates to work, bit of social, but you don't want to just go ham on it.
It's a tough balance.
It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird. And we still overthink, and we still like...
we always overthink it.
Yeah, and we'll build a brand for someone else in 2 seconds. And then when it comes to looking internally and posting on our own socials, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
That's why I really take my hats off
hypercritical.
Like I call them PR engines, like walking PR machines. Like, you know, again, drawing back to Jane Lou, like she's just so unfiltered, and it works, and she's coined that name, the lazy CEO, that really filters into everything she can do and get away with. You know, Raquel, another one from Elijah, like I mean, PR walking engine,
incredible.
Like, I take my hat. It's not as easy as you think. You know, you sort of, they're just in the car just talking. It's like, try and do it.
Exactly. I think I might have filmed one the other day about like one of our biggest lessons. I just didn't do anything with it. I was like, I can't. It's tough.
And you quickly see the flip when those people, when they start doing it.
Exactly.
Like you see the business just
start to take off.
And
it's so true.
It's just finding what's true to you that you want to speak about frequently enough.
Sure.
Because there is a lot of noise and shit in the day to day that like people don't really give a fuck about. Like there is something that we do have value to give though, and that's figuring out what that is.
I've definitely at the start was very much a marketer, not a business person or a salesperson. Like I consider myself more of like a digital advisor, business sort of salesperson, strategist, versus like back then was pure marketing.
Right.
And I used to speak about the mechanics of it. And it just was always like, who the fuck, like who cares? And particularly now, who cares around the mechanics of like the back end of marketing? Like that's not, unless you're really going down that path and you're an educator in the space and you've got a coaching business. But I think that was a big transition of realization. Like people don't care about the execution of it. They want to know what is your story. You know, 100%. I think that's different.
And I think it's about the value that you can give to the person as well. It's like it's an emotion, how they feel about the content that you're putting out, and if that's going to give them value if they interact with you on a business level.
Yeah, for sure.
And you see, like, I mean, people. I'm not like, I don't think we're typically concerned about like hate or whatever, but you see it in some instances where people like, you know, jump on and talk some shit, but it's pretty quick to see it flip as well. Like you've seen it even like, we know a few friends that got into this game and like for the first couple months, it's a lot of laughing, it's a lot of this and that. And then very quickly when those followers start to tick, people start to, you know, flip and come back around and start to show respect and start to show interest. So yeah, if you push through a bit of that early noise from yourself and from the outside, man, like I haven't seen anyone who has committed to it not it paid dividends.
Yeah. And I think you just got to get started with it. Like,
that's the biggest thing.
Everyone we
fall victim to that.
Everyone who's got a personal brand who comes on this podcast, they just say, it does not matter if whatever you're posting is shit, just get it done. Because you'll eventually get good at it.
That inflection point is one post away.
Yeah, and I think everyone.
Just gonna go.
Yeah,
I think the older you get too, but like I think everyone's a bit desensitized to what goes out. If people don't like it, I mean, you're not going to get too much hate on it. You're probably just not going to. You're not going to get many likes. That's it, really. What's the worst that could happen? Unless you're talking about something that's too controversial.
Yeah, we were just speaking about it like 2 hours after you post it, you're over it.
Yeah.
Like if you feel not good about it or you don't like it, like 2 hours later, you've forgotten about it.
Yeah, you get over it.
It's out of the algorithm, it's gone.
Yeah. I think it was way more intimidating, like say 10 years ago when not many people were really building their personal brand. People are like, what the fuck
you look like the odd one out.
Yeah, you look like the odd one out. Whereas now it's like everyone's having a crack. So
just jump in.
Yeah.
And, there's things now that help facilitate that, like Instagram's trial reels. Like you can dish out content to no one that follows you. And just let Instagram figure it out and let the audience make that decision. Yeah. And if it works, it works.
I've been seeing a lot of people like commit to themselves doing a post a day or even 2 posts a day over like a 60, 90-day period. I'm seeing others commit for the whole year. And then they'll just get data on what worked, what hasn't. And then you can just delete all the shit that didn't work and then just go all in on the shit that worked. And that's a pretty good strategy.
Yeah. And more often than not, they'll get the results they were looking for. Yeah. Like I've seen time and time again, like day in, day out, people saying, once a day at least. Just do it. 30 days, you'll see the results. 60 days, you'll see the results. So, I think that's a clear message.
And I think it doesn't have, and like again, like it doesn't have to be around your job or the mechanics of what you do.
Yeah.
Like I know you're documenting your 75 hard at the moment. That's great. Showcasing like a different side of Taki, you know, and like how that then intertwines around what you're doing to put that energy back into work as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm actually using it as a way to learn how to post content and the frequency as well. So it's also like I didn't have a plan going into it. You're just like I'm just using it as a bit of accountability to learn.
Yeah.
About frequency, about what to trial. So, and I'm probably not doing a good job at it, like looking back at it, but like that's all part of the learning.
Mate, I'm following your story and I'm liking it.
I appreciate that.
How many days in it?
Doing it.
We're 16 or 17.
I realize why it's called 75 hard. It's 75 hard because it's hard for everyone around the person doing it.
He mentions it.
It's in every second conversation.
So we can't hang out then because I'm going to do my own version of it this week. Not quite like you're doing Taki, but more 75 off.
Yeah. I'm doing 16 days like relatively difficult because I have a Europe summer. So, you got to
16 days something. Relatively difficult before summer, before Europe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, there you go. Like there's people doing it with you just because you're doing it.
We should create our own one and make it viral. Yeah. I think 75 hard, that's done. Like, what's the new one? We've got to come up with an idea there. 75 on?
100,
yeah.
5 days on Bali.
100 on holiday.
That actually.
Just
did that.
Good times.
It's good. Should do it again.
So it's good. It's fun, man. There's definitely some growth and some benefits coming from it. So.
And you guys are going to Europe soon?
Nah, just
me.
You're just going. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's
going on
there? Yeah,
no, not much. Just a family wedding, Crete, and then dip over to Mykonos. Ceremonial mandatory procedures. Check in, check out, and that's it.
Touch the ground.
Yeah. We can't take too much. Well, we try not to. Like, we did one Bali trip this year all together, and I don't think we've taken a holiday together in like 3 years. So they're few and far between.
Took me 5 days to recover from that one.
Yeah, you were there.
I think I'm the only one that planned that well.
Yeah.
That was a disaster.
Doing a 5 day on and 5 day off recovery up after it was a very smart move.
Very smart.
I don't think I would have got a plane.
We were talking about it's 5 day holiday. It was like a 2 week window of recovery that you needed. So
Jay and I landed and flew straight to Brisbane to shoot something for American Apparel. So it was
dark.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
But the product's great. It's actually on our Instagram now.
Yeah.
It's with a band called Thirst Trap.
Yeah.
Very good.
Over in Ipswich, I think.
That was cool.
Yeah.
And how many sessions have you got with Pool Party and Friends?
32, I think.
Yeah.
We're up to 32.
And you're doing podcasts with them as well? You actually interviewing the artists?
We interview the artists, We have a format. We ask 5 quick fire questions, and it's really well received, actually. Like a lot of these artists don't get an opportunity to show their personality.
True, because they're showing their skills, and yet not many people, festivals, gigs, that would allow the opportunity for them to actually sit down and talk about it, right?
100%,
Yeah, good point.
Some of the clubs in like Berlin and Amsterdam do it really well, and we're like, that's cool. Like, a lot of the artists we follow, it's really interesting hearing their little
stories,
little stories and stuff. So it's good.
You got Bella back on.
Yeah. Had Little Fritter on.
Yeah, Little Fritter.
And a couple other artists, and even like Penelope. Penny came on, a friend of ours, and off the back of the Pool Party and Friends episode on YouTube, another famous crew from Amsterdam, their manager saw that, and she got picked to open for them in Sydney. So you just never know who's watching.
Tommy Track, shout out Tommy.
Shout out Tommy.
He's the icon.
Sydney's not that big, so any platform for any artist, it goes a long way. You never know who's watching, and an opportunity
that's right.
to jump on.
And like you said, it's another way to build a network, whether that is doing events where you're educating. You guys are doing that through music, whether it's on a podcast. You got to find a way where you've got that network that you feed within, right? And I think you sort of nailed it.
Yeah, and I think having multiple projects at once is a really good thing. Virgil said that, and I just think it's common amongst people that are entrepreneurial and want to be active. I think the more things you got going on, the more networks you can lean on.
Yep.
Yeah.
And collaborations are obviously like part and parcel with brands, particularly in e-commerce. A lot of brands now are doing activations. They're finding ways to leverage other databases. You guys are doing a little bit of collaborations as well with Pool Party and Friends, and you're probably also organizing that for some of the shoots. Like, how important is collaborations with not just going in with one idea with one brand, but finding multiple that fit that demographic?
Massive.
Yeah, it's everything. It's a way to be in touch with the culture.
Yeah.
And a way to open doors that you otherwise couldn't open by yourself.
Yeah,
That's right.
You get 2 markets at once, or 3 or 4 audiences.
Yeah.
So they go a long way, and you see it again with like fashion brands a lot lately, and cross-industry collaborations as well.
Yeah.
So cars with fashion houses, or music with food companies. Like, those cross-industry collaborations go a long way.
Yeah. Because it's like, I think we're in that sort of micro community world now. Like Web3 was always meant to be that. That sort of missed the mark a little bit with the meta world and that. But that's sort of the direction I feel we're going in, is that micro community. Yeah, and it's like, 100%. How can you tie multiple micro communities in different industries together that have the same audience,
audience,
the same target market, the same consumer, and how can you couple those together? But I think like collaboration, brands aren't doing collaborations. Like, it's going to be a lot harder for them to grow these days.
Definitely. And and it lets you show that brand personality in ways you didn't think it could. Like McDonald's will collaborate with Travis Scott, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And that just it goes a long way, and it's also a form of endorsement. Like, collaborating with the right people gives you that sense of
validity.
Yeah, validity in some respects. Collaborating with someone who has that notoriety is obviously good in many ways. So yeah.
I'm a big believer in business that you have to learn the hard way. People, you can have advisors, you can have mentors, you can have people telling you do this, do that. What's some of the hardest lessons you guys have learned in business together over the years?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
I've got a good one. That I'd like to go back to. Whether this makes it or not. We when we started the company, it was the 3 of us, and we had this habit that formed quickly and ended just as quick. But we used to play golf on Thursdays till 10 a.m.
Every Thursday.
And rock up to work. And then like our accountant got wind of it and pulled us into a room and just gave us an absolute spray.
No way.
Big reality check.
Yeah, big reality check. And obviously right now with hindsight and everything, like, great, mad, hectic, but it was a pretty
we should bring that back, actually.
It was a pretty funny lesson early on to just like be put in your place and realize,
pretty cool that your accountant can pull you up like that, because many don't.
It was also
many don't.
My missus was also runs basically our books and operations, so she was in the room too, just going, "What the fuck are you doing?" Go to work.
Not from like, obviously golf doesn't cost much. Was it more just the fact you guys are on the course
just
every
not
Thursday?
Working.
Just
trying to build a business.
Losing half a day of productivity on probably one of the most important
and,
days.
This is really early on. So, we all just quit our jobs and we're really not making a lot of money and we're going to golf.
You just needed a breather from all the school and the corporate life. You got to almost have like a bit of a
little window,
lifestyle breather. Like for us, like for me, I felt so burnt out just from like school, university, straight into corporate life, working 3 or 4 different jobs in different industries. Then the first year of working on GMS was just like the freedom. I didn't take it that seriously. Yeah. But I think you need to have those.
It's true.
little times in that first, like the early on, it's the funnest, I feel. Don't you think? Until 100%. It gets really serious.
Not that serious,
It's like, when it's not that serious, it becomes really fun.
Your overheads aren't crumbling, like, that stressful. So,
growth is a trap, isn't it?
Yeah, you can play golf whenever you want.
But I think the hardest lessons, and it's the lesson that probably everyone learns in business, especially in agency world, is sticking true to like your value and your costs and not dropping your pants every time. You spoke about it earlier. Like as soon as you start diminishing your value by reducing, like accommodating to budgets, you end up with an output that's you're not proud of. And then also you've just lost a bit of respect with a client, or straight up off the jump, like the relationship, the respect that you should have from a client's not there when you've essentially dropped your pants for them.
And that's not an easy thing to figure out. Like it'll take everyone a long time, and it took us a little while as well to find your feet and stand your ground.
It's when you back your product that you finally start doing that.
Exactly. You have the confidence in what you offer.
And like the fact you guys have again pivoted very quickly. You probably would have had another surge of motivation for what Pool Party is now and what you've accomplished. And, I think that's also important to catch that level of plateau, not just from like a financial point of view, but motivation in the business to continue to inspire yourselves to output great work.
For sure.
It's an important thing there.
We're actually really fortunate that we love what we do. Like we are genuinely excited about a project. Like we run out of a meeting when we land something and tell the boys, and everyone's around it. Like we all start, the brains just start going crazy over like what we're doing, because like we actually really enjoy it. It's an art. Like it's not just we're not just ticking boxes. Like we're really passionately putting our best into the things that we do and getting excited about it. So
and it's unique that we have each other to pick ourselves out of the ebbs. You know what I mean? Like it does ebb and flow, and that's just real talk. And we're like lucky that we've got this.
You want to hold hands?
Yeah.
This bond.
You won't hold my fucking hand.
This bond that kind of like is forged, that pulls us out of the lows and helps us ride the highs.
But that motivation you just spoke about comes on every project. The next one's more exciting than the last.
I agree. Like I think that's what keeps me going, because I always used to feel like, oh fuck, I get bored quickly over things, but we're in an industry where shit changes very quickly. And a new brand or new brand that you take on, or a campaign, becomes a whole nother project that you're working on. So it's like, we must all have a level of OCD or something fucked up in our head.
Something wrong with us.
To want to do it the complicated way of, bringing on these new brands and having to start and collapse them every time. But that's what keeps me excited.
100%. We made that
among other things.
Among other things. How do you balance it all?
You do 75 hard.
That's true.
It's 3 times.
3?
What's the future hold? What's the next 12 months and beyond look like? What are we cooking up, boys?
Question. We're cooking
a bit of what we just spoke about. The personal brand thing, something we're really pushing hard.
Focus.
I think I need your assistance on that as well. We'll work on it together.
We'll figure it out together.
Conversation we need to have again.
Absolutely.
Overseas.
But aside from that,
helping me a little bit with some personal branding. Mate, I'm scratching the surface.
The more help you can get, the better, man. It's honestly like the more advice you can get. There's always a little nugget from everyone. But
absolutely.
There's that. And then just continuing to push, man. Like I just said, the projects seem to get better and better, and the outputs seem to get better and better. Strengthening the team and building the skill set within the team is a big focus over the next 6 months. But also just being notable and building that reputation for, being Pool Party, being that outside the box option, being the guys that are innovating, pushing the envelope, understanding brands and communicating them better than others. And that's basically our mission for the next 6 to 12 months.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly
right, Jayden.
Suited and booted, big plug.
That's it.
So
biggest missed opportunity with brands today? What do you think?
The personal branding part.
I think so too.
Honestly,
right?
I think that's
we're hopping on about
undercurrent here.
When I sort of, whether it's like it actually mostly is in startup territory. When you hear the word like, I don't want to be in front of the camera. It's just like, well, it's probably not going to work. Or it's going to be very hard to get it going.
But outside of that as well, it's like producing content with like strict strict return on investment in mind, rather than just building brand content first, and like having the eyes and having the reputation for being just a sick brand that's culturally in tune, understands me as a consumer, and then the rest is easy once you have those eyes and you have that following.
Yeah.
I think people often like look at you notice really quickly in a conversation with a client when like you use the word brand awareness, like they like when they say it first, like you go, all right, sick, you know what you're talking about, you know that, like you know the value of brand.
Too. It's music to my ears.
Yeah.
Like wind the clock back when I first started the business, it was very much in that $1 direct response, conversion, like height of meta ads. It wasn't even meta, it was Facebook, it was no Instagram ads.
Yeah.
And it was always about like, what can you get as a result? There was neglect on brand awareness. If I hinted, let's put some budget to brand awareness, people are like, you're losing me money. So like now, like I'm actually glad that there has become that more privacy first world. There's like cookieless world because it's enabled us to go back to what's true, and what's authentic. You know, as much as it is harder to track results online, I think it's become better in the fact that there is more sustainable approaches to building brands today.
Definitely. And I think like, for us as well, like in the last 12 months, pivoting a little bit more into letting the client understand the value in content versus paying for just a deliverable. It's like you need to pay for value. And spinning campaigns and concepts out to make sure that the value is in it for them is the most important part.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because, you know, a great piece of brand or creative can produce millions in output, even though you might not track it. That still adds to the P&L, and that's where brand lies.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For each of you, what is one piece of advice you'd give brands looking to start today?
You're gonna say personal brand content, eh?
We know the answer already. Am I banging on about something else?
Yeah,
let's just, other than that, than building your personal brand or brand awareness.
I think without
75 hard.
16 semi on, semi off.
I think trying to be disruptive. Like there are ways and avenues in which you can be different.
Like have a point of difference.
Yeah, have a point of difference, but in saying that, don't put off starting. Like run your A and B tests, do them to your audience that doesn't see your shit, but being disruptive is what's going to get you the most views. And tie it to your brand. I don't like how some brands will just jump on something that's viral. That doesn't.
I was just going to say that. Don't chase trends, right?
It doesn't tie into their brand. I think that there's you got to trod that line very carefully, because I had a conversation with someone that was like view fishing, view farming and whatever, and I was like, man, like that's got nothing to do with what you do in your business, and I wouldn't want to put that out for my personal brand or pool party. So having it tied into the branding, but being disruptive is probably a good takeaway.
Yeah, and I mean, off the back of something you said there is like, don't let perfection get in the way of progress as well. Like being, like we just spoke about, you know, taking the leap and putting stuff out there even when you're not 100% sure on it. That, you know, as long as it's authentic and organic, then just push it out, man. Like, Don't let perfection hold you back.
Yeah, and I'd say if you're launching a brand that's probably a product or service, I'd say get the eyes before you drop your product. I've seen time and time again brands, whether it's fashion or product, mostly fashion, but either way, they shoot something, they just drop it to no one. Build your audience before you drop your product.
And it gathers dust.
Which is a rounded way of saying build your personal brand first.
I mean, you need people dismiss the fact that you can't launch something to 120 people and expect everything to sell out. No one's buying that. You need to understand that. Hold on to your thing, post, build your audience, then drop.
We really need to just start building our personal brands, don't we, boys?
Yeah, I think so.
Practice what we preach.
You can't sell to no one. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
If you could start all over again tomorrow, what's one thing you do differently?
Personal brand has now taken over 75 hard.
Company name from pool party to personal brand.
At least we've got one thing out of this. That's how important personal branding is.
It's an important message.
It's an important message
that we can all, improve on.
Honestly, going the more like advicey kind of thing, I would say like test and trial your systems.
That's a big one. I used to always think that you have to be at a certain level of revenue, and I maybe just got taught this from something that was a little bit more of a playbook of business, and it really put the focus away from developing those systems earlier than what we should have. And I think you can't scale the business, doesn't matter what revenue you are at. You can't scale the business if you've got multiple people there, unless you're a single operator, without having systems. Talent is great. It's good to have talent, but you can't rely solely on talent to grow any brand.
Yeah.
It's the talent that uses the systems that really scales a business.
Yeah.
I think that's a massive one too.
Definitely.
Look, we've learned a lot of things along the way, and and fallen on our feet in places that I wouldn't change. But yeah, that's just something that
100%.
helped, I guess.
Yeah, 100%.
Or kind of push us forward further or quicker.
Yeah. I would have earlier in our sort of life cycle started at like our active approach to managing a network. I think the value of a coffee and a conversation is underestimated. It's honestly so important to constantly be speaking to people you admire, speaking to people in positions that are notable, and speaking to people in the same space as well, because there's so much to share, there's so much you can collaborate on. We got caught in our own bubble at the start, just going like, we've got to figure this shit out, but it would have been a lot quicker if we had reached out to the right people early on.
And like, to off the back of that, like a quick story, and this was actually, it was at your birthday, but we landed like, and this is, we landed one of our biggest clients currently through partying. And I know that sounds like a piss take, but it's really not. And the message here isn't to go on a bender. But if you do, like, to give you context, this was 3 a.m, kitchen bench. We didn't know where we were. And we got to talking with some chick, and me and Leo grabbed her details because she was in our industry. 12 months of nurturing that relationship go by. And then 18 months later, we get a shot, we nail it, and they're one of our biggest clients. And I guess the message here is have an open mind, have conversations, and you never know where those opportunities are going to come from.
It's funny. I'd laugh about it, but the amount of people that I've had on this podcast is over a drink because, I've met the same person over and over again at the same event. And it's not until you really sit down and sort of, I guess, have a different approach to the conversation. And I'm not saying, again, condoning kitchen benches or drinking, but and nor do I condone bloody going out every weekend because we're doing 75, aren't we?
That's right. We're locked in.
We don't do that anymore. But it's like whatever your advice is. But having a conversation with someone in a different setting that's not otherwise a professional setting can unlock so much more.
For sure.
And I remember even the opposite of that. The first year or the start of this year, when I did my 3 months off, I went to an inner circle event that Boa was hosting. Daniel, when he was doing a sort of an inner circle for Boa, was at Icebergs. And I think because in my head, I wasn't looking for a drink, so I knew I wasn't drinking. I just got around and spoke to way more people. So it's on the flip side of that.
Yeah.
Like if you're really tuned into yourself and you look and you're healthy and you're sort of like there just to go out and actually give a fuck about what people have to say and ask more questions. I got way more out of that event than I usually would have if I was looking for a drink and hanging at the bar all day.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like it can work both ways, but 100%. Like socializing and networking, whether it's on one side of the spectrum or another, is important. Is very important, you know. And I think like following up on those connections and not just networking for the sake of networking, because that can also be, you know, a lot of people go out there and join those BNI groups and they'll fucking sit there and go around on a circle and talk about their problems and who they are. And that to me can be a waste of time if you're networking for the sake of networking without giving value or having sort of end goal. Then there's got to be some sort of strategy there.
Absolutely. And this instance took us 12 months to get the shot. We got passed around in that company 3 times. Yeah. And another message here is when you get the shot, you have to nail it. You have to have a good product or service. But, that door needs to be open before you can, go through. So, have an open mind, nurture those relationships.
So, moral of the story, personal branding.
Yes. Well, that's
75 hard.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Any lasting comments before we finish up?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Mate, my pleasure. I mean, last but not least, when's our next overseas trip together?
I've got your socks on.
You're wearing my socks. You've got my undies.
Yes.
What have you got, Taki? You got one of my
surfboard.
Okay. I was wondering where that was.
I
only got 2 sessions. I only got 2 surfs out of 10 days in that Bali trip.
I think I got more than you did.
Wow. Who knows? We'll see. But thank you. I'm
sure something will come up.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely
I think we threw around Ibiza the other day.
Fuck. Next year.
I
think we need 12 months prep for that.
Are you going to have a bucks?
We'll discuss that.
Okay, sure.
Who's going to organise them? I mean, Adam will be organising that one.
Yeah.
We can do a golf
dangerous
trip.
He's got to get engaged
on
first.
Thursday.
Should we do a Thursday morning golf trip?
Yeah.
That's it.
And then start just doing personal branding?
Yeah, let's do that.
We'll go back to it. Go back to the drawing board.
Ibiza golf course.
That sounds great.
Great chatting. You're a gun, man. You're on something really cool here. It's a very conducive environment for conversation, so thank you.
No, likewise, guys. Thanks for coming on, and I'm looking forward to seeing the evolution of Pool Party, what you guys are up to. Absolutely incredible. You guys should be so proud of yourselves. And also, I love you guys.
Love you too, bro.
Love you,
Thank
bro.
you for supporting us always.
You.
Much love.
All right, ciao.
Man.